everybody, Steve Hall here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Doing a good job on the camera. We're going to open up this Ego 56-volt lithium battery-powered 21-inch push lawnmower, and I'll tell you, we're tired of yanking the cord on that beast outside, running to the gas station halfway through a lawn all the time when we can just do it this way. And we'd like to store it in the garage so it don't grow feet and disappear like the lawnmowers do. But we didn't want the gas fumes in here, so this is what we decided to go with. We also have an Ego leaf blower at work at the Nashville Nightlife Dinner Theater where we do our country comedy show over there, Shotgun Red, and of course they got their great band. But Sheila runs around with an Ego leaf blower, and it has a paint roller on the front of it with Scott 1000 toilet tissue on there, and boy, she just blasts everybody in the crowd. It's a hoot. But when you charge that charge lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and many shows before it even, I don't think it ever has. We just kind of charge it to make sure it works the next time. I don't think it's ever run dead. So, but we're going to give this a try and see what it does with the whole entire yard, but we're going to unbox it right now, and we thought we'd have you take a look and see what's inside. Alright, we already took out the battery charger and the battery and all the other packages and stuff, but I wanted to show you this. There's a little green lever on the side that when you clip that, this handle will stand up and lock into position, and then you can use that to help. There we go, just by lifting a little bit and shoving down, then we can use this to lift the mower out of there. That's kind of helpful. But I'm going to turn the camera off so we can lift the mower out of here. But you just squeeze that little green thing, run it over, lift up, lock it down. Of course, if you squeeze it, it'll fold right back again. But this looks nice for storage in the garage, doesn't it?
It does.
That looks awesome. All right, we'll see you in a second. Now that we took all the parts and pieces out of the box, the wheels, we had to put the blade on, the handles, the cables. Actually, we didn't do any of that stuff. We were kind of shocked because once we lifted it up out of the box by just squeezing this handle here and did that, the mower's assembled. It's completely assembled. I would assume, duh, you drop the battery in here. We're going to charge it up in that neat little charger. Take the battery out of here, lock it in your charger, plug it in, drop it in here, push this button, squeeze this back, and you're mowing. So let's do exactly that. We'll charge it up and we'll be right back. Well, we haven't charged the battery yet, but I do want to show you that you just lift the front of this open, and don't make the mistake of just dropping the battery in here, because that don't work. You have to move it back to where it goes down the rails. Then it snaps right into position. That's it. To take it out, you just push that button, pops the battery up, lift it back out. But again, make sure you're not up here, you're back there when you put the battery in, and that's how you put the battery in it. Let me tell you this, I moved this from the closest to the ground setting up here, and boy, you got a lot of clearance. But when you move that over and pull, it seems like it's locked up, but it's not. You just really have to lift the whole weight of the mower. Obviously going down is a lot easier. But all the way up like that, I'll bet that'll cut some real tall grass. But that's the deck leveler right there. On the back of the mower here, you can use this mower in 3 configurations. In other words, if you leave it the way it is, it mulches. It keeps the trimmings underneath there and chops and re-chops them, leaves them in your lawn. Or you can take this out, which holds the trimmings in there. Can you catch that, Sheila, with your hand? And then I'll put this over here. This, if you want to shoot it so that the trimmings shoot out like a conventional mower, take the little flat part, not in here, but out here, there's a little lip. You just hook it in there, like so, push it on the back, drop this, and the lid holds it in place, so it sits up like that. Then the trimmings come shooting out the back, like a conventional mower. Or, you can also, if you'll hand me that bagger, Sheila, we're trying to hold this up and do this at the same time. And let me tell you, you'll want to look at the directions on how to put this bag on this frame, because you will read the instructions after you struggle with it. There is 2 slots here, but don't let that confuse you. That's not where these hooks go. These hooks just go over the metal rod right here on either side of the lid. But that's where the trimmings go in the basket if you want to do it that way. So hopefully that's helpful. Now we're going to start this thing up. Once you unfold your mower from the garage and lock it in place, you think you just push the button and squeeze it. But if it doesn't start, remember, you have to undo these 2 side clips, pull this handle all the way up. Snap it into place. Then when you push the green button and pull the handle, we got us the lawnmower. One nice thing about this too, to make sure your battery's up to snuff, you can actually start and run your mower in the garage without fumes everywhere. And this thing, if you push this little button, it has a little headlight for mowing late, and they're quiet enough that you won't bother the neighbors. So go ahead and start it, Sheila. Push that button in. And let me show you something else. Watch her little leaf bag inflate when she starts it up here. Push in the button, pull the handle. Pretty quick. All your trimmings will go right in there. Now all those test runs that we just did, we haven't even charged the battery yet, so we're going to put it in the charger. I'm going to read the instructions and find out how long you should charge it first. Then we'll let you know how long it takes to recover. Then we'll take it outside and we'll give it a test. Well, to just give you kind of a crash course on this charger, when you snap the battery in it and plug it in, the little green lights will start going across the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. That means it's charging. On the battery pack itself, that little circle alternates from green to red to orange and keeps going. They say in the booklet, when it's charged, the green lights across the bottom will all become solid green, and the light on top, the little round one, will go out. They said you can actually just leave it on the charger and leave it plugged in. It will not overcharge. And about every month it will do a maintenance where it'll pull it down like 30% and then charge it back up, kind of like a maintainer. So that's nice. It's got a little mounting screw on the back, or a couple little holes where you can mount it on the wall, plug your battery in and just leave it. So when you're ready to mow, it's always sitting on your charger, it won't overcharge, and it's in the process of bringing it up to full charge. And I'm kind of curious, once it gets fully charged, just how much that increases the power on that mower and speed. And then plus there's an indicator on the mower also that tells you, you know, how the battery level is. So you're out in the backyard mowing, you can look down, it's blinking orange, blinking green, blinking red. I'll go into that in a little bit, but that's the scoop on the charger. And one other thing, when you look at the directions and assembly and all that stuff, when you take it out of the box, you will not find anything about the charger in there. I looked and looked and looked, and then finally I looked, there's a separate charger booklet. So if you can't find information about charging it, it only talks about the mower and the levels of power that the mower has left in it, but it doesn't mention anything about the charger unless you look at the separate little charger booklet. So, you know, I do all the dumb stuff so you don't have to. Well, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye. One other thing about the charger, you'll notice it's got a little fan running there. That's blowing on the battery to keep the battery cool while it's charging because it builds heat. But once it reaches fully charged, that fan will shut off and you won't have to listen to it. Well, the battery's fully charged because the fan quit, and that little green bar is solid all the way across, and it's just sitting there in the maintenance mode. We're going to pull it out of there and stick it in the mower and see what we got. You know, we charge this laying down flat, and you can do that. Let me pull the battery off of here. But there's a slot you can run the cord in the back of it here, and you can stand it up and run the charger like this instead. And then plus on the back it has a couple slots right here where you can put some screws in the wall and hang it up on the wall. This is raised slightly from this inlet, so even laying flat it'll pull air in for the fan. But I think next time we'll stand it up to make sure there's no obstructions at all. But let's pull this battery off and stick it in the mower and take it outside and see what we can accomplish. Well, we showed you how to put the battery in it earlier, and we have the battery in it now. And batteries that are deep cycle, they kind of keep full power right to the very end and then die out, as opposed to, say, like flashlight batteries. If you turn them on, they slowly get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. I know this from flying remote control airplanes, and they'll work and work and work, and then all of a sudden it's over with. So let's see if there's a noticeable difference, though, now that it's fully charged. Sheila, if you'll punch that green button down, pull the handle back, let's see. That sounds great. That thing is really humming. We're going to try it on some grass here. And by the way, on the back of the motor head right there, there's some lights, and they'll go from like green to yellow to red, and I mean that would be the logical order, but I think it's got some different flashing configurations. If you read the booklet, it'll tell you as you're mowing how your battery status is by looking right here at the back. So let's bring it over here. We're going to put this deck in about a middle position and mow, and then we'll go up and down from there. Here is something very important that I found out in this manual. Those lights that you see on the back of the mower head there when you're pushing it, I would have assumed that green means we're good to go, you know, yellow or orange means it's running low, red, recharge it, to a certain degree. But if it's shining green, the battery has at least 15% charge left and the mower's working properly. If it's shining red, then it means it's a low battery. Stop the mower, charge the battery, etc. If it's flashing red, the battery is nearly completely depleted. Stop and charge it as well. But it has some other functions with those lights on the back. If it's shining orange, the mower stops due to overheating. You need to move the mower and the battery pack to the shade and let them both cool off for like 15 minutes. Remove the battery, it says here, and let it cool and everything. And if it's flashing orange and the mower stops because of overheating, or it might have some obstructions underneath, remove the battery first. Don't start working on it with the battery in it. Then you can turn it over and pull the grass and stuff out from underneath the mower deck. But it has a bunch of light functions on there. You should check that out. I don't read instructions, that's why I kind of tell everybody that. But that's what those lights do. Well, we did a little test mowing before we turned the camera on, and we like the number 2 setting for the height of the lawn. In other words, 1 kind of scalped it, 3 was too high, and 2 is perfect. So Sheila, push the button, pull the lever, and let's mow a chunk for them right through here so they can see what it looks like. Boy, that mows really nice. Check that out. That is awesome. What do you think, Sheila?
Yeah, it looks really good.
That looks really great. Man, the front yard looks just terrific. The power in the mower hasn't changed one little teeny bit. Sheila, if you will, we left that one little strip right through here so she could make one last pass for the camera. Go ahead and fire your little electric mower up there and just zing out that last little strip there. Boy, I'll tell you, I just love it. It's just easy to push, she says, and I'll tell you, first of all, you need to find a pretty gal that'll push your lawnmower around for you. And that's our review of the Ego 21-inch 56-volt electric mower. And I'll tell you, after she empties that little clipping bag about 4 or 5 times during the lawn, she'll go back to putting the mulch blade, the little mulch cover in there, I think. But we'll see what happens. I hope all this has been helpful. Steve Hall in Nashville, Tennessee, along with Sheila running the camera half the time and pushing the mower the other half. See you later, guys. I hope this has been a good review. Bye-bye.